The cameras showed us the verdict. But what if I told you the real story of Sean Diddy Combs' trial never made it to live TV? Behind the polished courtroom clips and headline soundbites, there were shocking testimonies, explosive evidence, and private exchanges that the world never got to see. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain, exposing the secrets, the scandals, and the unseen drama that shaped one of the most controversial trials in music history. On the surface, the trial of Sean Combs seemed straightforward: allegations of abuse, misconduct, and a legal system trying to hold a music mogul accountable. Millions tuned in, following every update as journalists summarized what happened in court. But here's the truth. What you saw on social media or in news headlines was just a fraction of the story. Behind closed doors, away from the jury and the cameras, lawyers sparred, evidence was debated, and testimonies were strategically silenced, and it's those missing pieces that completely change how we understand this trial. Let's start with the evidence. Throughout the case, prosecutors gathered recordings, financial documents, and sworn statements from insiders who once lived inside Diddy's circle. But not all of it was admissible in court. Some evidence was ruled too prejudicial, others were dismissed on technicalities, and those details never reached the jury's ears. Leaked text messages allegedly showed heated late-night exchanges between Combs and key witnesses. Private flight logs raised questions about who traveled with him and when. Financial records hinted at secret payouts, hush money designed to keep damaging stories buried. The jury never saw the full scope of this evidence. But those who did, behind closed doors, say it painted a darker picture than what the public was allowed to know. Then there were the witnesses. Several insiders were prepared to testify: former employees, personal assistants, even industry peers. But one by one, some pulled back, citing fear for their safety, sudden legal settlements, or memory gaps. The courtroom heard from only a handful, but behind the scenes, attorneys argued for hours about whether their testimony could even be trusted. One courtroom observer described it like this: "You could feel the tension. Everyone knew what was at stake, not just for Diddy, but for the entire industry." Imagine sitting in that courtroom, hearing whispers of testimonies that might never see daylight. That's the trial the cameras didn't show you. Diddy's defense team wasn't just fighting the prosecutors, they were playing chess with the entire system. High-powered attorneys used every trick in the book: motions to delay, requests to throw out evidence, aggressive cross-examinations designed to discredit witnesses. At one point, an insider claimed that a heated argument between lawyers nearly erupted into a shouting match in the judge's chambers. And here's the kicker: many of those exchanges were sealed from public record, meaning the most explosive clashes happened where the cameras couldn't follow. When the verdict finally came down, the world thought they had the full story. But what they didn't realize was how much had been filtered, negotiated, or completely erased before reaching that final moment. For some, the verdict felt like justice. For others, it was just another example of power and money shaping the outcome of a trial. Either way, the courtroom drama that played out behind closed doors will leave more questions than answers. How much evidence was left unseen? Who was silenced and why? And did the public truly witness justice, or just a carefully managed performance? Make no mistake, the Sean Combs trial isn't just about one man. It's about a system where fame, money, and influence collide with the search for truth. Behind those locked doors, careers were destroyed, reputations were rewritten, and the music industry was forced to confront shadows it spent decades ignoring. And while the cameras stopped rolling after the verdict, the ripple effects of this trial are only just beginning. So the next time you hear about a high-profile trial, remember, the headlines only show you the surface. The real story, the whispered testimonies, the sealed evidence, the backroom deals, that's where the truth lives. And when it comes to Diddy's trial, what we saw was only half the story. Do you think justice was truly served in Sean Combs' trial? Or was the real truth buried behind closed doors? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because the stories they don't want you to hear are always the most important.